She just started, like, literally first episode ever. And she got Phineas on her podcast. I'm like, literally how? Yeah, that's how
Like Phineas and Ferb?
No, Phineas.
I was like, Tomo, I have to tell you something. Oh. She's like, what? I'm like, I like white guys. And she was like, oh, Langston.
I know.
Yeah. You guys never got shit for, like, not for being light skinned? You guys didn't get shit for being light skinned? What's going on, internet? Welcome back to the Girls vs. World podcast. I'm your host, Bree Lynch, and today we're actually going to switch it up a little bit. I do have two other co-hosts joining me today, and what makes this episode so special is that those two lovely ladies are my cousins. You're going to meet Alexis and Langston in just a second. Now, the reason that we actually wanted to record this episode together is because I sent an interesting little video into our group chat the other day that kind of sparked a conversation between the three of us, and I was like, we should make this a podcast episode. So with all that being said, let's roll the intro music. Okay, this might be a little bit of an interesting topic for some of you because I understand that this might not apply to everyone, but this is a very important topic to us because this is something that we have to balance every single day of our lives. So, Alexis and Langston, welcome to Girls vs. World. I'm so excited to have both of you here. Guys, these are my cousins, just so y'all know. Langston, you've been on the podcast before. Welcome back. Mm-hmm. New segment. You haven't been on this segment yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, not this podcast.
Yeah, I know. And
I was on the other one.
Yeah, and also I didn't even have a studio. I was recording in my living room still.
Yeah, I was like, when you were getting ready you were cleaning upstairs, and you were like, we're going to do a podcast. I'm like, where are the cameras?
Where is everything?
Where are the microphones?
Because the first time you came here, I had everything set up anyways, and I was only recording for social media back then.
Yeah,
crazy.
Okay, so this goes to like everything, like Apple and Spotify and everything.
Yes, it goes to all of them.
So excited.
And Alexis, you have your own podcast.
Hi guys. I'm one of the co-hosts to Mind Your Jersey Business based in Newark, New Jersey.
Heck yeah.
And I'm one of four. So it's awesome to actually be in a group full of all women without raising my voice.
Having to raise my voice.
I'm like, you might see a softer side of me today.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Hell yeah. You know, I wanted to have this conversation with the two of you girls because I sent something very personal in the group chat the other day. Yeah.
And I saw, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, how did you guys feel about that? Okay, so internet, real quick, our audience that's listening. The video that I sent was basically this like little controversial YouTube short that I saw.
You could put in a clip in the thing.
I'm going to put a clip in the thing. It was literally labeled Black Women versus Black Women.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, I was like trying to read it. I was like, did I read it wrong?
No, you did not. No, you did not read it wrong.
No,
Yeah, I can't remember what the creator's name was right now. I'll probably put her name in the description below.
But I know she's like a TikTok creator. I've seen her before.
Is she a TikTok creator?
Yeah,
Smart people.
I keep forgetting.
Yeah, Smart People Are Finally Talking is the podcast.
Yes.
She just started, like, literally first episode ever. And she got Phineas on her podcast. I'm like, literally how? Yeah, that's how
Like Phineas and Ferb?
No, Phineas.
The Phineas from Phineas and
Phineas O'Connell.
And I'm just like, first of all, that's popping.
I know, right? Can you imagine?
That's iconic.
A fictional character. A fictional character.
That's iconic.
I totally agree. No, Phineas, Billie Eilish's brother. Her producer. Yes.
William.
I was like, how do you, what?
William Eilish.
I'm so sorry. I am one of those cousins that are, listen, I'm the Will Smith of the family. So, like, I just learned about Billie Eilish, like, a couple of years ago.
Will Smith.
I didn't even know.
Crazy.
Who you gonna slap?
I ain't gonna slap y'all.
Anybody.
I said, well, I'm like, Fresh Prince of remember me coming over to your house? And I'm like, I'm thinking we could go into that too. I'm like, I'm thinking, we are in a middle, I'm from a middle class, neighborhood from like the hood or whatever, right?
Whatever.
And then I'm going down to visit you guys every summer. I'm like, so there's different levels of middle class. And I didn't know that until we started coming over. I'm like, you have your own room? So I never had that. That's crazy. That's crazy, dang.
Langston, your house did make me feel somewhat normal, but also I was like, damn, my entrance is not like this.
Well, you had a pool.
I did have a pool.
Girl, you had a fountain.
Bad. What am I supposed to do with a fountain?
Correct. First of all, have a fountain.
Am I supposed to drink out of it?
I have a tree in my front yard and some steps. Y'all talking about, girl?
You can climb some steps. You get nothing.
Langston, you see the wealth gap disparities?
No, listen. Literally, the size of Langston's front yard could be that of like
That's
3 people's yard. Yes, of
What's
3 people's yard.
Why am I being attacked? I married out.
You know what though? Actually, that kind of brings me to like a generalized question. Not that I'm interviewing y'all, but do you guys feel like, since we were all kind of raised in more middle class families, do you guys feel like you were being judged by other black kids?
Well, remember, I grew up in a different neighborhood from you guys, so it was like predominantly black and brown. So there's a little bit of similarities to where people are from,
right?
But I was one of the only kids in my social group that had like an actual house. Everybody else lived in apartments because we live closer to the city. It makes more economic sense for them. But I'm thinking I'm one of the rich kids out of the group.
Right.
And then when I visit you guys just like that, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what y'all saying. Okay. There's that gap. I'm like, okay, there's like levels to this.
Yes.
But nonetheless, I feel like we still were raised the same of getting that stigma of like how we talk or how we carry ourselves or like the interests that we like are generally different from the global population. Well, not global, but
the population of a lot of our brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
it's different.
We should say our dads are brothers.
Yes. Yep.
And then your dad is our dad's cousin.
Yes.
So that's
first
cousin. That's how we're
all related. Thank you, Langston.
Yeah, I felt like specifically all of our dads grew up together. They didn't grow up rich. They all grew up poor.
Literally poor.
So
so they're
kind of like we.
Yeah, but they're all doing well for themselves.
They're the ones that made it so that we could kind of have more opportunity at this point. And then we're like art.
All 3 of us
to do art.
All 3 of us.
Thank
are
you
like,
for this money. I will be using it.
Literally, you were like fashion, you were like music, and I was like film.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, do that ish. And if you don't want to do it,
the parents are like, wait, you're supposed to work as hard as we did, and we're like, no, that was
too much.
You're like, that's for me.
I'm good
Thank you so much.
You taught me to believe in myself, and I'm gonna do that.
And I'm gonna actually do that.
I'm gonna do that. Thank you very much. Do you feel like you were being judged when like people would find out where you live or like come over to your house, that they were like, oh, your parents have money?
I did feel really good about you and going to your house. Like I felt like you were the one that didn't judge me because of it, because you had that as well. I just didn't have a lot of people over. Right. But I felt like
I didn't want to bring people over.
Yeah, no, it was
because of that.
It was just
that's why I was the only one to come over.
Literally.
Yeah, no, I feel like there was kind of a discomfort with it, but I kind of got used to it, if that makes sense. And I just made friends at school or would go to other people's houses.
Yeah, it took a lot for me to invite somebody over to my house because I was like, you're about to use me if I let you over here.
Yeah,
it's how I felt.
For me, it wasn't a using thing because like a lot of my friends were within the church community, so everyone knew. It just made people uncomfortable. So it was like, okay, well, we can go over other people's houses.
It's like, damn, girl, it's not my fault. I got a chandelier in my living room. I don't know what to tell you.
Like, I never thought about it like that because I'm considering like, since like the property taxes are so high here, I would think like a lot of like the income is relatively similar of like your peers.
No. Burlington has very wide.
Yeah.
Well,
and Langston and I went to a very like diverse school. Yeah. I felt like our school was definitely a melting pot, but I feel it wasn't like a 50-50 melting pot. It was like 30% of this, 30% of that, 10% of this. Yeah.
So like the public school thing, like I feel like we got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Like we got the fights in the morning in middle school, and we got the freaking, I don't know, Visco girl thing. Like
we had the shooting at those one apartments too.
We had the school shooting threats.
Yes,
we had the suicides. We had like there was very
that's I haven't had.
It's a deeply township is very traumatized
as
a body. I think because of all of the diversity.
That's why we had Team Pep.
Yeah, and then Team Pep was bizarre.
What is that?
Team Pep, I don't even want to get into it. It was the most traumatic experience of my entire life.
I almost joined, and then
you listened to me?
I had a teacher that told me, no, like, I'm using you, not them. And I was like, okay, fine.
Team Pep was traumatizing.
That was an aside. Right.
Was that a cult or something?
Yes.
Girls?
It felt like it. Yes.
I'm like,
basically.
It was a high school cult More or less.
And I'm thinking, I had an odd experience in high school because I had to go through metal detectors like it was TSA.
See, no, we didn't have metal detectors, though.
Because they trust you, but yet in these neighborhoods, I'm so sorry, in these neighborhoods, there are the school shooting threats. I've never had a school shooting threat.
That's what I'm saying. We probably
did.
The shootings happen outside the school, allegedly.
That's wild. Well, this video that I sent the other day in the group chat was literally just this black girl. I don't remember what her name was, unfortunately. I should really
I think it's a TikTok creator, though.
Yeah, this TikTok creator that basically she was just like kind of explaining. Anybody want to help me explain this? Like, she was basically explaining like how even within our own community, like black people are not rooting for each other.
Yeah, in a sense. The video is specifically saying that when a black woman comes on TikTok, or specifically when she enters into online communities talking about things she doesn't know what to do beauty-wise, like maybe her hair is
her culture.
Or she doesn't keep the right, like, I don't know, this isn't what she said, but like if she does things that are like out just reveal that she hasn't been cultured to know how to take care of herself as a black woman specifically. Like doing your hair or maybe finding the right foundation shade or like things that are particular that like a lot of black girls who grew up in black communities knew how to do. She said when a woman comes online being honest about that, a lot of black women are judgmental to her instead of helping her and then judge that girl for not wanting to be embraced by black women because it's like, I came to you for help and then you judge me for asking for help and not knowing, and made it seem like she's self-hating for not knowing. Yeah. When in reality, or self-hating for not surrounding herself around black women, when in reality, when she comes as she is, she's rejected for not knowing, so she doesn't. Yeah, it's kind of like what she was saying is it's like a self-fulfilling cycle, yeah.
Yeah, it's like gatekeeping in a sense. Like it's kind of like gatekeeping, which, I mean, like, I don't know how I really even came across that video, but I thought
I remember her saying like, oh, you'll see like, oh, you can tell by her hair she doesn't have any black friends, which I might have been guilty of saying in my head though. But to be fair, I was that black friend that if I see another black woman in public looking slightly disheveled and I see all of her friends are palm colored, I'm gonna pull you aside like, girl.
You pull her aside?
Yeah, I'm like, girl, but I got attacked, like verbally attacked for doing that one time. They were just like, I don't know what you're hit me with I don't know what you're talking about. Like, my hair is fine.
Okay, girl.
And I'm just like, see, that's why. Y'all want help.
Sis. See, that's why.
And then when we try to help, you think you know everything because Becky and them said you look fucking fine when you look
but they don't know. They don't know. Yeah.
I'm screaming.
Head turned. Wig turned like Lisa. Like, come on.
God, I felt like I kind of like, I don't know. I felt like I've been like in a weird space lately because I recently, even on the podcast, like had my hair in braids, and I was saying that I was a little self-conscious because I was like, this is not something that I get to notice of myself very often. This doesn't happen to me very often. And I think that like when I was young, your mom used to braid my hair when I would, you know.
She could braid, Andrea could braid some hair.
Yes, she can.
She could grip that.
She's tight-handed though. She's tight-handed.
She braid your thoughts.
Now I'm like, I told her to braid the thoughts. I told her, listen, I'm bringing mixed, when I get mixed girls in your house.
Yes.
You cannot pull that hair that tight because it's going to fall out.
Because it'll be falling out.
It will fall
Stretch
out.
Alopecia.
Okay.
Auntie.
I know they're Italian. I don't care. You're going to be gentle with the mixed baby's head. She's like, I'll be gentle with
you.
You gotta
Mom,
do my little edges.
You can't do cornrows. You got to do the little French braid.
Yeah,
French braids.
Yeah. What do they call them? Kim Kardashian called them boxer braids.
Don't
trigger me. Do not trigger me. Do not trigger me. Do not trigger me.
Oh my God, I'm scared.
I had somebody come to me in college asking me, which number one, how dare you think
They're
how dare you assume that I know how to do hair? Number one.
Yes.
She was like,
I'm a dreadhead
Alexis,
for a reason.
Do you know how to do boxer braids? I'm like, what the hell is that?
Boxer braids?
What the hell is boxer braids?
That's
I'm like, is that motherfucking cornrows?
Motherfucking cornrows.
She was like, what's that? That bullshit that you just showed me. That's exactly what it is. And then you try to rebrand it.
It wasn't her. It was Kimberly. Kimberly was doing that.
Oh, you supposed me to know what the hell that white woman be doing?
Okay, so this is kind of where like I was recently with the podcast because I came home, I like had to get my hair braided for work in cornrows. I had like 8 and they were long as shit. They were like down to my hip.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I haven't had my hair braided like this in so long. But you know what? The couple times that I have had my hair in braids in the past, because I'm a mixed girl, some of the black girls were giving me a lot of shit for it. Like, you don't need to have your hair braided like that. Why do you have your hair in braids like that? That kind of thing.
Because my daddy black.
Right. But also,
if your daddy ain't black,
that's interesting.
Well, people that had seen my natural hair before, because my natural hair is easy to deal with in comparison to a lot of what black women have to deal with, I was getting shit for having braids. So then it made me uncomfortable having braids. Like, I wasn't black enough to have braids.
I was going to say, because we look very similar, or like we looked very similar in high school.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because most of the treatment around race that you got, I never got. So like
crazy.
Stuff like that. Yeah, and I think it was solely based on our hair texture. Like, I wonder if that's it. Because we had the same
texturism, guys.
We had the same. We have the same complexion.
Yep.
We have very similar faces. Like, we would trick people and tell people we were sisters,
and they would believe it.
And sometimes tell them we were twins, and they'd still believe it.
Yeah.
But I feel like some of the experiences that you have with race are so weird. Compared to what I feel like I've run into, I'm like, we don't have anywhere near the same experience.
That's crazy.
Nowhere near.
But I think it's also because of like the little group of people that I was in, because I was with all the little scene queens and the emo kids, you know what I mean? And like I was like the token black kid in that area, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it made me really uncomfortable getting braids. So this is my first time ever having my hair braided even the way that it is right now. And I felt like even the girl that was braiding my hair was judging the shit out of me, because I had like told her, I was like, I haven't ever had boho braids before, like I don't really know, you know, whatever, I need some guidance. She was not trying to fucking help me.
She was not trying to guide.
She was not trying to help me at all.
And she was one of us.
Yes. Right.
I can try to analyze where they're coming from, because I'm in the room when they're having these conversations. So of course, let me shut my ass up, because I got some biracial folks in my family. So when the conversation starts,
one more.
I said, I'm like, let me be quiet, girl, because I don't even look like I could even defend myself after time.
Right.
But
That's
like
interesting.
so
interesting.
Right. Yeah. But in regards to all of this, honestly, like, this comes from like a scene of like pain and hurt, unfortunately, where they come from. We just got a law now, like a couple of years ago, the Crown Act, to where you're not even persecuted for wearing your natural hair or wearing it in braids or wearing it in locks in corporate settings or in professional settings, and it won't be penalized towards you.
We needed a law for that?
Yeah. Because
people were firing people for having specifically... Well, for having natural hair, for having locks, that's like still a thing in public schools. Oh, in private schools.
Are you fucking
I
kidding me?
just got comfortable wearing my natural hair like a couple of years ago at work.
Shit.
Yeah. Like, I just got comfortable wearing my hair like this to work.
I just feel like there's so many issues that we deal with as black women that I feel like people don't even recognize on like a regular basis unless it's your literal lived experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just wanted to like, I don't know, shed some light on it, because that's something I would have never even fucking thought about that.
Because it's not even a factor of hate towards you. It's the factor of like, in their head, they will be penalized for wearing the exact same hairstyles as you.
Yeah.
And you can just walk through life and no one will bat an eye towards you because you're mixed race and you're a socially acceptable black woman.
Right.
Versus someone like my mother, who is a dark-skinned black woman with texturized hair. She'll be more penalized towards that. And people didn't even start claiming that we looked alike until I was an adult. I share her same face. But people, just because my daddy light skin, oh, you look just like your father.
Yeah.
Now that my mama's just like, I ain't trying to hear that. BS.
Right.
Yeah. Y'all spent 30 years telling me this baby look exactly like her daddy. Don't come to me now talking about, oh, she has her face.
Right.
So it's just a place of hurt.
It's just fucking crazy.
We just need to have that conversation.
Yes.
And you shouldn't even have to tell people, hey, my daddy's black, in order for it to be acceptable for you to have braids. But
both my parents are black. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because my mom is mixed.
Mexican.
Right, exactly. First of all, it took me 10 years to know that she was part Mexican. Mind you.
Really?
Girl.
What did you think she was?
I thought Aunt Monica just be straightening her hair when we cut, because she knows to speak Spanish when we over there. So how the hell am I supposed to know?
I feel like I've always known. I feel like I've always known.
Know.
I didn't know any other Mexican, I think, except for you and your family. And
Damn.
so then, but here's the thing, like, we would always go to your birthday parties, and it never clicked for me that you guys would do piñatas because you're Mexican. I just thought piñatas were just.
Did that.
I thought we just did that because it was a birthday party. I thought it was just a birthday tradition. And like I'm telling you, me and Matt were sitting down one time like 5 years ago, which is nothing compared to how long that was a thing.
Oh crap!
And we were like, wait. Brie would have piñatas at her birthdays because she's Mexican.
Y'all didn't have piñatas at your birthday?
Huh?
You didn't have piñatas at your birthday?
I did. We probably go to like Six Flags. I remember we went to Six Flags a lot.
I do remember that.
We went to a lot of amusement parks, but we didn't
go to like
we
fun
maybe
plex
did
or
a piñata
something.
one year, but like me and Matt connected the dots. We were like, piñatas, like everybody doesn't do piñatas.
But here's the thing.
That's crazy. I don't even know how I
didn't know because my dad did piñatas, so I'm just like, well,
Yeah.
I just assumed,
Piñatas are
girl,
fun.
you just like doing piñatas, girl.
That is funny.
That shit
Here
did
I
not click
am.
for me.
Here I am.
That shit did not click for me.
Boo boo the fool.
I'm just thinking your cousins is just, melanin deficient, and that's okay.
Not melanin deficient.
Not just having the same amount of melanin as us.
Literally, we're all the same.
But your cousins on your mama's side is
Oh,
lighter.
your cousins.
And I'm like, oh, okay, look at y'all being
Eli's
melanin.
like the same.
Elijah's the same as us, but Niall's light skin.
Yeah.
And
And
I
I'm
was
just
real
like,
I
light.
haven't seen him
I
since
guess.
he was little.
Yeah, he's
like,
real
little.
light skin now, yeah.
He got lighter?
Yes, just like Josh.
I'm lighter too.
Yeah, you are.
I used to be like sometimes darker than Matt.
Because we will always be in the sun.
Yes.
Yeah, now look at me, Connecticut. No
Yeah.
vitamin D.
No vitamin D.
The storm cloud of America.
Yeah,
Oh
right.
my gosh.
That's Washington State.
You guys never got shit for like not for being light skinned? You guys didn't get shit for being light skinned?
Not
The collective
okay, I'll say this. I've never almost ever been asked if I was mixed.
What?
Yeah.
You know that's the first question that people
I
ask
know
me?
that's a question that you get a lot. That's why I started thinking
Facial
about it the other day.
features, I think, too.
I think it's facial features. I think just because someone's light skinned doesn't mean that people think that they're mixed. So I've never had the experience of people assuming that I was mixed. I've never been asked, "What are you?"
What?
Nope.
Girl, that is the first thing that comes out of people's mouth.
I
They'd
know,
be like, I'd be like,
yeah.
hi, I'm Brianna. They're like, what are you?
So what I'm saying is like some of the things that you experienced,
Yeah.
some of the things that you experienced might have been because you're mixed. Because as a light skinned person, I will say like I don't feel like I received like direct shade for being light skinned. Like I feel like there's probably like some comparison games that happened when I was younger, or I don't know, dating drama that can happen around beauty standards.
Right.
Yes.
But it never felt like a direct, like, you're light skinned, I'm going to treat you this way. I feel like that's been my experience. And so it falls under the radar for me. So it's not like in the forefront. And I have to think about it too, because our children are going to be mixed and my child is going to be mixed. Like to me, I feel for mixed people because
of that identity crisis a little bit.
Yeah, I found that in talking to people who are 100% black or have both black parents or are light skinned but have two black parents versus like mixed people, like the light skins are not like in crisis about it, or like
they're growing up like the dynamic is a lot different because there's no confliction of identity at all.
Versus the mixed kids seem to get a lot of weird treatment
Girl.
from both sides that I
don't understand.
I know that I'm gonna have to find a way to help my kids through it.
Yeah.
But I didn't experience it. It seems worse than what I went through.
But
honestly.
they got a black
But
mama. You're gonna be good.
Thank you. I hope so.
You're gonna be good.
But I do feel like, I don't know. Like I feel like mixed kids get treated really weird. But that's as a light skinned person. I feel like a dark skinned person would have a different experience.
Well, as a mixed kid, let me tell you what. The one thing, there's two phrases that I hear very, very often. Number one, oh, but not you. You're different. I hear that a lot. Yes. In relation to many things. And then also, what are you? Like,
yeah. It's so weird because
top two questions.
we look so much alike, but I have never gotten that question, like almost ever.
That's crazy to me.
I have had someone assume that my parent was white.
Yeah.
I had a white parent, but that's because they mixed me up with someone else. It wasn't because they were just like
looking and
they
observing.
assumed that I was mixed. But I think it had a lot to do with my hair.
You haven't had any like weird experiences of like, oh, what are you mixed with? What are you?
I have. It resurged. Like I didn't have any experiences like that up until I went to college, to be honest with you.
Oh, shit.
Because remember, I went to a predominantly Black, Caribbean, and Hispanic school throughout like my all 12 years of high school, like grade school. So everybody comes in different shades, right? Then you go to college, everybody's culture shocked. So everybody's just like, what are you?
So
What's that? Or it's more like a where you're from situation.
Is it a thing that white people do that black people don't do? Like, do white people tend to ask that question more?
A little bit.
Because I
just
like
out of curiosity rather than ignorance. It's just curiosity.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
But I would say when you get in an argument with them, their stereotypes towards black people poke out. And I did not know that certain white people, so sorry y'all, have a certain side to them with malice towards people of color when they don't know them like that. A lot of that ignorant stuff just pops out. And I don't want to say it's racism rather than ignorance because you don't know what it's like to be a black person. So you spewing that is nothing towards you because it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And your culture.
Right.
So it's more or less like that. And as of recently, my boyfriend honestly thought I was Dominican.
Really?
Well, that makes sense.
So he thought I was Dominican. But remember,
sense.
he went to a high school where there was predominantly like Brazilian and Dominican students. So he just thought I looked like one of the girls from there. And so I opened my country ass mouth. And he was like, are you from the South? And I'm just like, well, I wasn't born in the South, but my grandma raised me.
Yeah.
So it just comes out when I'm comfortable now.
Yeah.
I don't feel the need to code switch. College was a nightmare.
Yeah, can we talk about code switching a little bit? Can you dig into that?
Oh my gosh. Especially like...
You don't do it?
No. I feel like my parents have different ways of speaking, right? My mom is more like kind of like you, where she's influenced by Southern tradition. She was raised by her grandmother, so she has like African American vernacular that she speaks in, and then she goes to work and she kind of talks like that. My dad doesn't actually really speak, like have that same speech pattern. So I
feel like your dad's really proper.
He's
the
not.
way that he speaks.
He just is.
There's a flat line.
He's just kind of like. It's just he doesn't try to be something that he isn't, and I don't think that was the way that our parents like grew up talking.
Yeah.
And I feel like your dad has always been like that.
I don't think it's an effort to be proper because he doesn't have to code switch because he is a business owner. So like he kind of is, he does do business, but like he's writing papers a lot of the time. Like he doesn't have to do it if he didn't want to, but he just doesn't talk like that.
Right.
So I kind of was exposed to both.
Right.
And I was taught or like told that it's good to code switch. It would be helpful. But ultimately...
That's crazy that that's a whole conversation.
Yeah, like, and they're doing it for our benefit. But I didn't really... Like, by the time I got to be in college and even at my, like, workplace now, like, I don't know. I feel like I've had exposure to both where I don't feel the need to. I don't feel the need to.
That must feel safe. Comforting.
Yeah, but also in music.
Must be nice.
In the music industry.
Meanwhile, I'm a loud black woman.
Well, blackness is an advantage in music. Like it is. I feel like it's something that makes... I almost feel like it's something that makes people trust me more trust my musical abilities because black people are viewed as inherently musical. Yeah. So it's like, is that not true?
No, it is the truth.
It is true.
Like you even think about history, where did that shit come from?
Yeah, and so, well, think about it. Like when I think about work that I go to for music, like people want to work with someone who has the sensibilities, the musical sensibilities of some of the big pop stars that are black. So I don't feel like people might do it just to impress. I maybe do it like naturally, but I really don't care because I'm not going for the appearance of wealth or like going for the appearance of whatever. I want to be seen as competent in music. So if I'm able to, I'm like, I do contemporary, I do this, I do that. I don't need to speak in African American vernacular to get that across. Right. But I'm not going to hide that from an employer. I think I think people who are like working with musicians, they value
That's crazy.
Black culture a little bit more.
I have ever felt
and that's
like
kind of the opposite from my industry.
Yeah, with
like
fashion,
if
Same.
you got to be Eurocentric or they won't take you seriously.
Same. Even in the movie industry, they don't want me there. They do not want me there. I have never felt an advantage of being African American in my life. I've never felt like that was working to my advantage.
Black women needing of stunt doubles. There is a niche.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out. I know Viola Davis ain't looking at Becky and them to do this.
But in music,
this
they
Netflix movie, girl.
In music, they waiting for somebody with rhythm.
Yes, they are.
Do that 1-2 step.
Right.
Yes.
But everybody obviously don't have to be black to have rhythm.
Right,
But
of course not.
But
You can. I'm saying that music comes from all different cultures, but that association is there. So when I come in, it's like there's almost like a, okay.
We good. She here.
Wait. We are.
Can you do
We'll be fine.
Can you do like pop music? Like, I'm not kidding.
You know what's so funny? And I'm not going to reveal which job this is, but this was a past contract position, and I had. Funny enough, one of my coworkers who is biracial, right? And I was, talking to her vaguely, like, oh, I got a country accent, but like I try to like keep it a little bit proper when it comes to like certain meetings. And she was like, "Girl, why?" Like, such and such, the VP, she's from Austin, Texas. She has an accent. I'm just like, first of all, that's when I looked at her like. There's a difference.
A Texas accent is different.
But also, this is another reason why I said there's a difference between when you have white mom biracials and black mom biracials. Just saying. Prove the point.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, for you to even not acknowledge that there is like a stigma with black people when talking a certain way makes me feel like you're not going to get it.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I think I used to feel like this even when I would go to church with you because you used to go to a predominantly black church. I felt the need to code switch when I was going into a more African American environment than how my natural usual self is.
Yeah.
Like then I felt the need to like code switch, but not necessarily when I was like around white people and trying to be proper, because then I felt like I was good. Like I was like, oh no. Because I think that most of like my friends growing up and most of the people that I was like surrounded with growing up, especially because of like the sports that I did and that kind of thing, like I felt okay there, but it was when I would exit outside of that group that I was like, oh shit, these people are judging me. Like other black people were judging me for not acting black enough in a sense.
Assimilating to the culture.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say it's probably a standard on both sides. Like,
yeah.
I feel like nobody's really above it. Like,
yeah,
everybody, people suck. Like, we just want people to be how we are. When people get in a big group of like-mindedness and somebody that's different comes in, everybody wants them to be like them. And so it's definitely not something that like the black community is above, like by any stretch of the imagination, but it goes both ways. Like white people do it too.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't happen in the same way when you're going into a predominantly white community. It kind of is like, oh, you're cool, you're awesome, but I'm not gonna bring you in. I'm not gonna invite you to anything. I'm not gonna, trust you. Versus like, I feel like if you don't code switch, like you might, in a black community, you might get made fun of.
Yeah.
And like, but it's like to your face a little bit better.
Yeah.
At least in my experience.
Yeah.
But honestly, black people can't take shit serious. And I'm the first one to say it because I can't take shit serious either.
Yeah.
They'll be like, you could eat a salad from Chick-fil-A and they'll be like,
yeah, what are you doing?
This nigga eating a salad. This nigga trying to be healthy.
Yes.
Exactly. So, like, we don't know. Listen, we turn anything into laughter. We turn trauma into laughter.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to roll with the punches, too.
Yeah.
Like, you got to snap back right to it. Like, especially where we're from, they'll cut you just like that. They'll make fun of the way that I talk. I sound like a work girl. I'm just like, hey, your mama back mad big. Ooh. So, like, what you gonna do? Like, you gotta get right back to it.
That's why I don't take
your uncle taught me that.
Too personal. That's why it doesn't hurt, like, I think, as much.
Yeah.
Because at least, and being with a white man, and we go to a predominantly black church.
Yeah.
Like, there's that initial, like, shock, discomfort. They don't clown him, but you can tell that there's like
they're treating him a little different.
No. It's really all love. It really is. But it's just he's just different, and there's this initial discomfort, but there is a love and an acceptance where it's like, it's just a surface level thing. Like, at the end of the day, you know, I might get picked on for like singing everywhere I go. Like, that's like a weird thing about me that Black people will point out that white people will not necessarily point out. Like, they might say, oh, that's really cool. Black people will point it out, but then they still embrace it. You know what I mean? Like, that's why it kind of, I'm like when I was young, like, it kind of it hurt, but now I realize that it's
kind of like a term of endearment in a way.
Yeah, it's not
all in
actually
how you have to take it, you know?
Yeah.
But it's harder. I feel like it's different when you're mixed, and I'm sure it's different for someone like JP, who is always in predominantly Black and Hispanic spaces.
Maybe because it all depends on the look as well. You know?
The look?
Yeah, I just feel like when it comes to dating outside your race, it depends on what you look like to determine what type of men will attract to you.
I disagree. I have to disagree.
I agree with you.
I have to disagree.
Because here's the thing.
As an interracial dating baddie.
Yes.
But JP is my first.
Funny as hell.
JP was my first and only non-Black partner. I only dated.
I remember. Wait, hang on. I remember literally the two of us going to the restaurant together before you and JP started dating, and you were like, "I'm about to go." You were like, "I'm about to go on a date with a white boy, and I need to know everything." Brianna, she literally came to me.
The rundown. I called you too.
No, because we both got into our relationships
at the same time. At the same time,
and we met at lunch in
at Cheesecake Factory, North Jersey,
Cheesecake Factory together, and I was like, this white guy is messaging me. What do I do? Help me.
I was like, be nice to him.
It's not. I don't think that it is the look, and the reason that I say that is because I only dated Black guys like right up until a couple of years before I would with
say
JP.
like body type wise, because like honestly,
but my body was the same. My body was like the same.
But remember, we have two different body types. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, she's saying.
In the grand scheme of things, it, like predominantly, not all, because there's some white men in the South. Okay? Right. Shout out to y'all. But predominantly, a lot of the white guys that I have met, especially in New York City, were interested in thin women. Predominantly with a slightly heavier chest. But if you don't have a chest, it's whatever. But they like slightly slimmer people. And this is just across the board type of thing, not from race or anything. I still see white guys, you know, trying to holler at Black girls, but they were slimmer. So that's why I say like not necessarily like facial wise, because shoot, you could be butt ugly and they still come up to you. But I would say body type wise, they're like, that's a little bit too much to handle. But you know, like Black and brown people are relatively like more curvy, and that's a part of our culture. Versus on the outside, it's not really part of their culture, so they wouldn't necessarily look at me and think, ooh, attractive woman. They'll be like, friend, nanny.
Nanny.
Yeah.
You weren't surprised when JP liked you. Weren't like, what you like a Black girl for?
I was surprised, but so there was a change, right? Because I always kind of had a preference for white guys, but I wasn't closed off to anything.
Right.
So I was like, and also I was taught never to approach a guy. So I never approached anyone, and I would only get approached by the guys that were interested in me. Yeah, yes. Andrea was not trying to have me embarrassed out here in these streets. And I appreciate her.
I appreciate her. Great Aunt Viola was trying to get me on The Bachelor. Girl.
I appreciate her for that.
Yes.
My mom was like, do not let these men have you looking stupid out here. And I said, period. And she was like, I said, period. It was a word for me. It might not have been a word for everybody, but it was a good word for me.
Period.
So that's but because of that, I was mostly only approached by Black and Caribbean men.
Yes.
For a long time. And in my mind, I was deeply ashamed of being attracted to white guys as well. Because, let's be honest, I have heard a lot of judgment for Black women being attracted to white men. And when there are conversations about guys that people are interested in, I've heard a lot of women say, and it's not just white men, it's also Asian men. Yeah, I like this race. Yeah, I like that race, but I could never be with a white guy and I could never be with an Asian guy. And
that's mad random, by the way. Never heard of that sentence.
Do you hear that?
I hear it.
I'm just not attracted to them as a race. And for me, like I deep down had a preference for white guys, but I didn't want to be perceived as not being accepting of
black people.
Yeah. So I wouldn't even
because we already got a group of that already.
But here's the other thing is that a lot of white men are racist towards black women when it comes to their dating preferences. To the point, and JP snitched on them. He told me.
Go off, JP. Thank you.
We love an ally.
So he told.
What he say? Well, he said we love an ally.
It wasn't just because it wasn't just white men, actually. He said he's heard white men, black men.
Oh, I know black men. I'll snitch on y'all too.
Yeah, talk about black men, women.
Yeah.
Some of them won't even date black girls. He's told me that he's heard, right? Yeah. That when he hears guys and Hispanic men talk about women that they're interested in, they just say, they might not say specifically black women, but they'll say like, they'll be embarrassed that someone thinks that they like a black girl, or they are just like not into black women because of whatever reason. So what we do when we list out the races that we find attractive and say, I just couldn't be with a white man. Like, I couldn't be with a colonizer. Or, like, I couldn't be with a...
Colonizer is crazy.
You never heard that before? What I've heard. Or I couldn't be with an Asian man because whatever. Yeah. They do that to us. Like, they do it to us behind closed doors. And I personally... Because I found that... I had a lot of... When I was young, like, little. Yeah. I had a lot of white guys that I liked that... I was so shy to talk to boys that I liked when I was younger. I was like more on the shy side when I was younger when it came to that. And they just never liked me back. So I developed this belief in my head like, oh, white boys do not like black girls. And I carried that late into college, and to the point where like I look back and I'm like, there were a lot of white guys that were actually interested in me and attracted to me, but I didn't realize it because I just didn't think they were capable of being attracted to black women because of what a belief that solidified when I was young. And I would kind of be I would be very open to it, but they also don't pursue women in the same way that black men do. So like I'm waiting for, which JP did this. Black men are more likely to approach you, ask you for your phone number, ask to take you out, or just be, very open with you. When a white guy likes, at least a black woman, in my experience, they tend to go through the friend route a little bit more, in my experience. When I look back at some of the guys that I'm like, oh wait, he actually liked me, and I didn't get it.
Thought he was a friend.
Yeah, I didn't get it because I just thought that they just didn't like black women. Yeah. When I look back, I'm like, oh, okay. And there was a point at which I actually accepted that I liked white guys, which was like, I'm straight. But I came out to Damo. I tell people this.
I came out.
Because me and Damo, we went on this late night drive, and we were both having a really deep heart-to-heart. Me and Damo grew up together.
Our best friend, yeah.
We were close. We have been friends since we were 4 years old. So we know each other very well, to the point where we're almost never vulnerable with each other.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because we are so close, right? Yeah. And we had this heart-to-heart that we never got this deep. And she told me this thing. She's like, I don't feel satisfied with X, Y, and Z. And I was like, Damo, I have to tell you something. Oh. She's like, what? I'm like, I like white guys. And she was like, oh, Langston.
I know.
Yeah. I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you what happened.
And I do too before you do. Right. And I'm like, you know what? She's going to find out.
Well, I'm glad I did. I mean, but here's the thing. I didn't write anybody off. Like, it's not like I was like, I don't want to be with you. I just went about it. So it wasn't like, I have a dislike for black men. There were a lot of black men that I dated that I had a great time with. But the attraction that I had, I felt ashamed of because of like how I feel like how black women refuse and are like almost, some black women are like disgusted by the prospect of dating interracially, to the point where it's like, sometimes I haven't experienced this personally.
But it's also generational trauma too.
I have not experienced this, but I hear that some women experience like bullying for dating outside of their race or being called a race traitor.
Yeah, they do.
Nobody says it to my face.
Because it's never that deep.
It's never that deep. I don't feel... But I'm just saying, so
I think JP acclimated real nicely to our family.
Yes.
He practicing the electric slide.
He knows how to be around black folk. But he's Italian.
Tries.
He's Italian.
And that makes it different. And you know what's so funny? Mm-hmm. When we were meeting up at your, I remember this specifically before your graduation for your master's, and you were just telling me like, hey, I got a new man in my life, blah, blah. Just to let you know. I like how you said low, just to let you know. It's a white man. I said, okay, before we go any further, I'm sorry, I'm that cousin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So sorry. I'm not racist, but I just needed to know. Are we talking American white?
No.
Or are we talking about European white?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Southern white? Because there's 2 different types of Southern white.
Yeah.
One of them is only...
Yeah.
And once you said, oh, he's Italian, I'm like, oh, girl, you good.
You're fine.
Yeah,
I thought I was going to have to worry about you during Thanksgiving, Lord.
No.
I have honestly like kind of the opposite experience where like I've always been attracted to just whoever that I get along with, whoever it is that I find to be a very passionate person, whatever. I don't give a fuck about looks. I literally don't care. I don't have a preference of this way or this way.
You have to be funny.
Right. I don't have a preference of this way or this way. I like passionate people. I like talented people. I like people that understand me and people that are good listeners because I can fucking yap and I will not stop. But I have never even had more than like, I think 2 black men be interested in me.
For you.
It's more about who's interested in you.
Yeah.
That's like people like get mad at the woman if she's in an interracial relationship. Like, I was minding my business.
Langston was minding her black ass business.
But then it's also like, the thing is, like, at least for me, tell me if this is accurate for you. Like, when I admitted to myself that I was interested in interracially dating, all of a sudden, all of these white guys started coming out of nowhere, like ones that were too old for me.
We are in the running.
I was not interested in. I would just be walking. I would never get approached by white guys until like I admitted it to myself that that's what I liked and that was okay.
Said, Let me open up these
But that's what I'm saying.
floodgates.
Like I feel like it's also like the energy you give off to people.
Yeah.
Like if you're interested in that kind of thing. And like the same thing happened to JP. Like he was like, you know, he had never been around black people growing up. And then when he went to college, he was around a lot of black people.
Yeah.
And he would hear like people talk badly about them. And he was like, well, let me see for myself.
And he found out.
And he was like, he fucked around and found out.
Not in a weird way, but he was just like, I actually think that there's a lot to admire about women of color.
Yes.
And it was like kind of when he embraced that, he would get attention from women. So it's like it's almost like, do you feel like it was like an internal acceptance thing for you?
Yeah, I do feel like it was not really though, because I always knew that I was just attracted to whoever I was attracted to, and I didn't really like. I don't want to say I didn't see color, but like I didn't see color, and so many people that were interested in me from like a younger age were not black people specifically. So I was just kind of like whatever, you know what I mean? But I will say something that I have experienced in almost every single relationship that I've been in my entire life is that the moment that somebody even tells me that they're interested in me and they invite me over to their house, the first question I ask is, does your mom and dad know that I'm black?
That's what I asked.
Because, and it's crazy because like dating interracially, like they'd be like, they're not going to care about that. And I said, you don't think so.
Yeah.
But you need to tell them. And I'm not coming to your house until you tell them.
I had somebody tell me that they liked me, but they couldn't pursue more than what we're doing right now because their parents will never accept me. Just to save you the heartache, because I really care about you as a person. Like, this is what it is, and I don't know if you're willing to withstand that or not. Yeah, and I'd rather not go through that type of turmoil in regards to that. I'm like, you know, I respect that because not everybody has the bandwidth to go through that with someone that they truly care about.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm not raising around my black kids around no racist people. Yeah. I'm good. No. You're good.
I had a Mexican person that I was seeing that their family was literally never accepting of me because I wasn't Mexican enough. And literally, their mom...
Yeah, I had to look at the camera, too.
Yes. Their mom literally just wanted, like, Mexican and white grandbabies, like, blonde hair, blue-eyed. And I was like, girl...
Let me just go back in my family history and change some things. I'll be right back.
Exactly. I'll be right back. Let me also change my last name while I'm at it.
Yeah, right.
The fuck? Come on.
I had people say, are you related to Isaac Newton? I said, through slavery.
Ooh, are you really?
Girl, no. I'm just making white people comfortable. I'm just making white people uncomfortable. And that's what I love the most.
Cash that
also, I did have a Hispanic person actually like, I'm sorry, I just haven't seen a black person that look like you. I'm just like, yeah, it happens. It happened through slavery. Your ancestors like to do stuff that my people didn't want to do, and that was the result of that. I'm just like, because it wasn't pretty, and I don't plan on dressing it up nice either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ask dumb questions, get dumb answers. My students are
like, Miss Lanks, what are you? I'm like, I'm black. They're like, yeah, but like, I'm like, the transatlantic slave trade. And I am one of the most American people in this room.
Oh, right.
Oh, clock that T.
Like, actually American. Like, we're American.
We're American.
Yeah.
Like, I think we are as American as it gets. Yeah. Black people are like we've been here for the longest.
Along with the Native Americans. But
damn right, yeah.
Yes.
I do have a question though. Have you guys been exposed to the Diaspora Wars within our communities in regards to being black? Like,
elaborate.
Like, there are some that have this connotation that we are less than because we don't consider ourselves to have culture because we don't have a country to call home to. But my thing is like, we constantly get the shit end of the stick when it comes to those conversations, but we never had that type of energy towards Caribbean people because we were on the same boat. We got off on different stops.
Yeah.
You never question a Jamaican person where they're really from when they say they're from Jamaica. But when we're from America, you ask where we're from, and I said, well, my family's from North Carolina. You're like, okay, but where are you really from? From North Carolina.
I'm from New Jersey. Don't make me go further back.
Gullah Geechee, if you will.
Please don't make me go further back.
If you want to go really deep.
It's going to get bloody.
Mm-hmm.
So
don't make me live that trauma.
I can't even.
That's a little bit of trauma. Because I'm like,
trauma is just weird. It's awkward.
Because it's just like, why is there a beef?
Makes me think about segregation and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. No, I can't even say that I've experienced anything like that because usually when people get to that point of the conversation with me, they're trying to get me to tell them that I'm Mexican and white and Indian and black. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, they're asking me for that information, and then they usually shut the fuck up. You know, or it gets weird, and they're like, because I want my kids to look just like you. And I'm like, that's nice. Have a great day. I had
a white woman tell me that. That's so scary.
But also, like, isn't it just fucking crazy that we're still talking about this shit? It's 2025. And the fact that all three of us literally had shit to say as soon as I was like, we should talk about black women's issues and, like, the kind of shit that we have to deal with.
Let's go.
Right. And the fact that all of us were able to even have this conversation for the amount of time that we've had this conversation is insane. Because you would think that this shit would be over with by now.
No.
It's not.
No.
Very true. Should we wrap up with some group chat gossip? Anybody got any hyperfixations of the week?
What even happened this week? I'm in my third trimester.
Yes.
Yay.
Right. Right.
I know you're like, I'm over this. I have been fixated on Chinese manufacturing.
That is
and
so
everybody has
random.
been talking about it. And I find it so funny how I've been saying this for literally over 11 years and no one has been paying attention to me this whole time.
We listening now.
I've been saying.
Speaking of which, I just realized that Forever 21 is
going out of business. Yeah.
What? Literally what?
Yeah, but I see all the sales. I'm not surprised.
They're selling the clothing racks.
They're selling the racks. R.I.P. to an era.
Damn. Yeah. That's crazy.
Now the college girls don't have another place to shop at.
Do you have any group chat gossip?
Watching birth videos.
Ooh.
I like them. Like, there's not
and
that
that
many.
Scares me. Like,
I like them.
My eye just twitched when you said that.
Not the eye twitching.
Okay. Actually, this is the tea. I watched this video of this woman giving birth, and most of the birth videos, I realized they have epidurals because this woman was natural.
Are you gonna do an epidural?
Yikes.
No, I'm planning to go natural.
Trooper,
that's why I'm working out.
Brave
That's why I'm working out because I want to squat. Too much information. I wanted to squat.
Regular birth or water birth?
Regular. We're gonna do it in the hospital.
Okay.
I want to do that because there's this whole thing about birth and how like it's been over monetized by the healthcare industry, and I have to agree. Mm-hmm. But like squatting helps move everything more, and you can't squat if you have an epidural. You can't walk if you have an epidural because they've tapped your spine. and like you can't feel anything. So I'm doing everything I can to make it a quick delivery so that by the time I beg for the epidural, it's too late.
That's what we're doing. Make sure you drink okra water from now until towards the end of the trimester.
Why?
Because it helps with lubrication, if you will. Okra water is very good for lubrication, and raspberry tea.
Interesting.
So I have to do that like before I like actually give birth.
At least like a month before, like minimum, just so like your body.
Said not when you're like a couple centimeters dilated.
But it gotta work through your system.
Maybe like you're blah blah dilated.
Low-key, the texture of okra already feels like
it's supposed to.
And the raspberry tea. Interesting.
I'm gonna put that in my back pocket. I just eat a lot of lemon soup. A lot of lemon soup.
That's an Italian ass baby.
Like soup with lemon juice in it?
Limoncello when you give birth.
I will give you the recipe.
Okay.
It is so good.
I'm interested.
But also, I am in, like, it's like I'm on another level with it.
I'm going to give you some lemon pepper wings.
Damn.
Yes.
That baby need to taste some black people food, okay? They need to have some lemon pepper wings.
Yup.
We're a Buffalo household. We're a Buffalo household.
But you ever had lemon pepper hot and wet? There's basically buffalo sauce mixed with lemon pepper seasoning.
Well, I love that.
Yes.
There's a different. I'm telling you, just go to Atlanta.
I love that.
What is my group chat gossip?
Yeah, what is it?
My group chat gossip. I started reading the Let Them theory. Did you guys read that book?
No.
No, what's that?
It's like, I don't know. I'm only one chapter in. I was proud of myself for reading them. What'd you say?
If someone wants to leave your life, let them.
I think it's just about like kind of disconnecting from people and not taking things so personally. There's also this thing that I learned in the first chapter that's called the 5-second rule for like it helping yourself motivate yourself to do something.
Oh, look at you. I know the food on the floor rule, but
no, you count backwards from 5, and basically by the time that you get to 1, you need to act on doing whatever it is that you're trying to do, and it helps you get past like fear and like all that kind of thing.
Doom scrolling mayhaps.
Yeah, doom scrolling. Yeah, like in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna get up and actually do the dishes, that kind of thing. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on Girls First World. This was crazy. I didn't expect this episode to be that long.
I know. I didn't expect this episode at all.
You know, I will talk shit about black people issues all day long.